Hi folks, my name is Brian Adams. I'm the Minister of Music at St. Paul United Methodist Church. And with me today is my good friend Frank Emond. Frank and I are going to be talking to you about December the 7th, 1941. And Frank, I think that you and I are significantly 6 feet apart. We're sitting outdoors at your house. I'm going to take my mask off here as though I'm a professional journalist and say hi to you, Frank. It's good to have you here with us. The internet is excited today to hear you, and Frank and I have been friends for years, and normally on December the 7th, 1941, well, actually every year since 1941, you had a chance to tell and recount a story of where you were and what happened to you on December the 7th, 1941. But this year, as we were talking, you felt a little bit remiss that you didn't have anywhere to go because COVID had shut places down. And as we were talking, I said, well, let's just talk to the world from your front yard and you can share your story. So I'd love for you just to look right there in the camera, introduce yourself for a second, and tell us where you were December the 7th, 1941, and why that day is an important day for you.
I'm Frank Emond. I was born May 21st, 1918. That makes me 102 years old. On that December 7th day, Pearl Harbor Day, I was a member of the band aboard the battleship the Pennsylvania, and we were at 10 minutes to 8. We were lined up on the stern, getting ready to play Morning Colors. The Navy raises their flag every morning at 8 o'clock. At 5 minutes to 8, heard a buzzing noise and some other noise, and looked up and saw a line of planes coming in from my right, and the first one peeled off from line, and something come off the plane. I thought that the stern was the tail assembly was coming apart or something. So I watched it all the way down to it hit the ground at a hangar on the air station, and it exploded. It made a big noise and smoke and a little fire there. Startled us all, astonished us. And so we looked back up, and the sky was beginning to be full of these little planes. And all of a sudden, it dawned on us, we could see the big orange spots on the airplanes, so we knew we knew that we were being attacked. And about the same time, coming in off the harbor entrance by the stern of the ship, about from here to the highway there, a torpedo bomber come flashing by, making a lot of noise, and dropped the torpedo. And I saw something come off the torpedo and realized, I learned later, the Japanese had put wooden floats on the torpedoes so that when they dropped them, they wouldn't sink down in the mud of the harbor, so they could use them there. The torpedo went a little bit and under the a wooden mine layer and hit a cruiser in the dock there and exploded. I looked up, the sky was full of these small airplanes. And it dawned on me then that the plane went by us on the stern, went so fast and didn't really grasp everything, but the man in the back cockpit was shooting a machine gun at us. You could see the little red spots flicking there, and realized afterwards what it was. So then we knew we were being attacked. So we decided that we needed to go to our battle stations. Mm-hmm. So we all started there, and about that time the OD realized it, and throughout the ship they call battle station Noah drill, the general quarters Noah drill, because we usually don't drill on Sunday. We usually have that day off, but so we all went down to our battle stations, and at that time I and another member of the band was with me, was assigned to the aft battle station repair party there. Mm-hmm. So we were assigned as stretcher bearers there. So we sat on the deck there for it seemed like an hour. Of course, on those battleships, and there's not a lot of chairs around the place to sit on.
Right.
So when you have time, you want to sit down, you sit on the steel deck. The deck where we were was the main deck. On those ships, the main deck was about the waterline. It was an old battleship built about 1917, and there was a 6-inch steel deck there. And so we waited, and you could hear a little noise, a few thumps every once in a while, but there was no communication as to what was going on.
But you knew with these planes that had come in, you knew you were under attack.
Right, we knew we were under attack, and you could hear sounds of explosions.
Right.
So we knew that's what. Then it was quiet for half an hour, a little bit more, and then it started in again. And about that time, we received a 500-pound bomb hit. It came right down through the middle of the ship, hit that steel deck, and exploded up, made a large hole going up. It injured, it killed 21 people, injured about the same.
Mm-hmm.
And then it started, I was given instructions, and my friend, we were assigned stretcher bearers. So we went out, and we had to pick up the dead and the wounded people.
Right. And so for the next little bit, that's what you did, back and forth, taking them to the infirmary or to the...
Right. We had a small sick bay in the aft part of the ship.
Right.
The main sick bay was blown up, so that was the only one we had. So there was a space down below. I think originally it was the brig, and we put the dead there, and we took the wounded to the battle station. I mean, to the at the other place there. I get going here, and I get confused a little bit because I am old a little bit.
But that day,
after that, it took about an hour, and then it all ceased. So then we were able to walk out on the deck without being shot at, and be sure that everybody was picked up and carried to the place that they should be.
So in all the times I've heard you tell this story, I guess I've never made sense to the fact that Pennsylvania didn't shoot back. Or did they?
The battleships, we had 9 there.
Yeah.
These old battleships.
Right.
We had no anti-aircraft guns.
Right.
The fast shooting ones for close-in planes. We had 2 anti-aircraft guns with 3-inch. They shot shells way up in the air that exploded, but none of the machine gun type.
Right.
Which is why we didn't shoot back, because we had none. We didn't have any of those. And if you had them and cut them loose, you might be shooting at your friends on the other side of the pier.
Wow.
So it was.
So basically, you were literally just sitting there, silently,
right,
watching what was happening there in the harbor.
It got very warm inside there, and towards the end of the first wave, and there's a warrant gunner in charge of our group there, about 20 of us, and he was getting real fretful and worried about him. It kept getting warmer and warmer, and the magazines with the black powder they used for the main guns were just underneath us.
Right, I imagine.
And with extreme heat, the black powder would explode.
Right. So
the 2 destroyers, the Casey and Downs, in the dry dock with us was smashed, and the floor of the dry dock was full of oil, and that oil had caught fire. So the sides of the battleship was on fire too. They coated the side with so much paint that the paint was on fire.
Yeah.
So it made it warm. So they flooded the dry dock in order to put out the fire.
So throughout the throes of the day, once you got past 9 o'clock, 9:30, and the first wave was done, was there a second and third, fourth wave that came in, or do they leave the Pennsylvania alone?
No, there was a second wave come in, and we were hit at the beginning of the second wave.
Yeah.
There was a sort of a medium-high bomber dropped the string down where we were and got the casement downs, and I was that evening. It was so it's about in the afternoon. We were issued rifles because they didn't know whether the Japanese intended to invade the island or not. The Japanese did destroy the oil tanks, so they thought that the Japanese ships might need the oil and come in after that. So they gave all the members of the band a rifle among the other crew, and it was a grand rifle, which we had never seen before. And they got a bag of metal clips with the bullets in the clips.
Yeah.
So we had the rifles, and we looked at these clips and had no idea how to put them in the rifles. But a Marine came running through the area. I stopped him, and he explained to us how to, with your thumbs, that you drop the clip in the top.
Yeah.
And everything, somewhere over that.
So we'll be thankful that a Marine helped you out there in the midst of everything else. I don't think I've ever picked up on that part of your story either.
That evening,
grateful to the U.S. Marines.
That evening, they needed guards to patrol the along on the dock alongside the ship. So they asked us to fill some time spots in there. So I took the 12 to 2 nighttime spot. So I had my rifle loaded. I had my finger on the trigger, and I walked up and down by the ship for 2 hours.
Right.
But I could every once in a while you could have a rifle go off, but not around where I was.
So one question I was going to ask you is, here you are processing what just happened that day.
Yeah.
And your mind is going hour by hour, not knowing what we know now, when everything was going to stop and what the ultimate result of that day was going to be. How did you process mentally, or did you until days later, what had actually happened that morning? And so your entire day is now moving dead bodies from A to B, and here you are walking around with a rifle.
Well, it was all part of your job that you were doing, and it all went smoothly. I mean, there was no problem of yelling or screaming, nothing. It was very quiet. We had some pipes break, which made a little mess around and everything, but we were able to get all the people we needed. Going up and down ladders with the stretcher was kind of bad. The sailors who were close to the explosion, when you had to pick them up there, the blast had burned all the flesh. And the uniform was white shorts with skivvy shirts, so any skin exposed was burned. So you couldn't grab them.
Yeah. So
we diverted to grabbing a blanket off a bunk, and then roll the body in the blanket. And if any of the other sailors on the Pennsylvania were missing a blanket, I'm sorry, but we used it for a purpose.
So this was 79 years ago. Next year will be the 80th year of 1941's attack. And over the years, your group in each state and each region has a group of guys that were survivors that have done things together or met with each other and things. And as that group has slowly dwindled down, and realizing that you're one of a very few of the last of the greatest generation alive, and you look out here to this internet that's watching you from their handheld phones or on their laptops, what would you like to say to this generation of young people coming up that look at your generation in history books? What would you, as a living piece of history, like to impart upon these young folks?
Well, I'd like to tell them maybe that if they look at the history of the United States, they will see that every once in a while we have a bad thing happen to the United States, and but every time the people have united and started working, and especially the young men, the young people have pursued the whatever it needed to recover from the problem we had. So we have recovered from everything which we have attacked us now. So
Right.
I'm trying to let them know that when something terrible happens, you have to have faith and trust in each other, and trust in God also, that things will get better, and we will overcome the problem which has pursued over us.
As we wrap up this video today, and I'm glad that you had the opportunity to speak to whomever watches us. We're going to post this video in a couple of different places. Might send it up to some NBC, ABC, CBS kind of affiliates. So Good Morning America. Who knows where this will end up? But when you look back on tomorrow, this is December the 6th that we're recording this today on Sunday afternoon. What final thoughts? What does December 7th mean to you personally? What did you take away with this almost 80 years ago?
Well, personally, I feel remorse or sorrowful for for Navy Band 22, the men on the Arizona that they're all killed. And we had, on the night before, we've been playing in concert, our band and I think the California band was in the stadium, one on each end, and the other bands on the battleships had come over to listen, and because we knew each other a little bit, and I was familiar with that band and all the members, and they had left about midnight in their launch to go back to the ship, and then the next day they were gone, and their folks did not have the pleasure of seeing them grow up and have children and grandchildren and establish families and associations. So all the people who had members there then were cheated of all that great experience. Somehow I have survived, and I have sons and grandsons and great grandsons and all, and I have sort of lived a charmed life. I was in the Navy during the World War II and the Korean War and the Vietnam War. I was only shot at once, and other time I was inspecting. I was instructor duty and all that. Things, but I just feel sorry for that group because I personally knew them. Yeah.
But it shows you how quickly, when you didn't expect this, they didn't tell you there's a possibility we'll be attacked this weekend.
No,
you were just doing your thing, right? And instantly you lost a bunch of friends.
Yeah, of course we were our steaming station when we were at sea. We were the aft surface lookouts. We used to climb up the main mast, the one in the back. It was a big round tube, and with rungs on it. You climb up there, and almost at the top they had a metal cage-like thing, split off, open to waist high. And you had spyglasses. I mean, so you spent 4 hours up there staring at the horizon and the ocean, because we had no radar then, so you didn't know who was out there unless you could see them yourself. So that was so they had given us cue cards with ships, silhouettes of the Japanese ships. So we were supposed to have been looking at them, but so we knew that something was brewing eventually, but we didn't expect it to happen without some kind of warning.
Right. I got one final question for you, one that I guess I've never asked you in the years that we've done this. Or I've seen you speak, and I've heard your story. And we were joking about it when I got here. There's been quite a number of presidents that you've had in your life over the last 100+ years, and you've seen an America that has changed and transformed from your birth time to the Great Depression to World War II to Korean War in the 50s and Vietnam in the 60s and through the 70s, and you've seen a lot of America change with rules and technology and electricity and things that have come about that never were 100 years ago. But at the bottom line of this, you've mentioned it a number of times how important it is to love one another and be in unity with each other and get along with each other. And when you look at the TV or you look at the America that we have today, as we probably have this final thought, this final question, what would you like to look at the camera and tell America right now that you and your friends would have told them in 1941 if they could have seen where we are today? What would you like to leave closing thoughts with America?
I don't know. I don't have any great thoughts, but I know that if each one of us would give a little bit, like a volunteer, to help somebody, I think the whole country would get along a lot better. But we all should have a friend or 2 or 3 friends that we help with their problems, and they will help you with your problems. And we need to associate with each other, I imagine, a little bit more. Now with the virus there, it's we can't get together as a whole group. So so we don't have a whole group helping in the project to help someone else mainly. Some we have, but the main body of Americans are not out there trying to volunteer a couple hours here or there to help out. But you need to give of yourself a little bit. When you find that when you give, if you give an hour or 2 a week or something, you will get paid back twice that much, in the end with the friendships.
Well, thanks for your words today, Frank. We appreciate your lifetime of service, your lifetime of speaking this message of love and unity and peace to each other, and recounting your story over the years as I've heard you tell it a number of different times to different groups. And thank you, America, for watching one of our greatest American heroes and a living piece of history today. That's Mr. Frank Emond here in Pensacola, Florida. Thank you for joining us, and God bless you, Frank.
Thank you. It's been my pleasure. We should remember things like Pearl Harbor, because, like I said, every once in a while something bad happens to you, and when it does, it's not time to moan and groan, but it's time to get up and work and fix the problem.
That being said, America, mask up, wash your hands, and do your best to love each other. Thanks for joining us today.
It has been my pleasure, really.
Thanks, Frank. Bye, y'all.